Hey everybody, it's Chef Matt. Today we are going to be making one of my family's favorite desserts, creme brulees. You're going to need 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, 6 egg yolks, a half a cup of sugar, and a little bit more for sprinkling on top when you roast the creme brulee. You're going to need some vanilla. If you want to use vanilla bean, it makes this really good. However, I looked at the grocery store today, and one vanilla bean was almost $17. So I'm just using the vanilla extract I have at home, but either one works fine. You're going to need a little bit of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'd say less than a quarter of a cup. You're going to need a baking dish set up with your ramekins inside, and then as well another dish outside that's going to hold the hot water bath. I got a pot of boiling water here that's going to be for our hot water bath. You're going to need a medium-sized saucepan to make the cream mixture, and you're going to need a medium-sized skillet for the chocolate ganache. Okay, the chocolate ganache is not a required step in this creme brulee. You can certainly skip it. I used to work at a restaurant where we made creme brulees all the time, and we put chocolate ganache and bananas in it. My family always loved that. We always left out the bananas, but the chocolate ganache, I think it's the way to go. It just gives it that little extra touch and really makes it a great dessert. Okay, I forgot to add, we do need an additional quarter cup of heavy cream for the chocolate ganache. So I've got that in my skillet here. You just want to heat this up in like medium-high heat. You don't want this to boil over because it will happen if you do it on high, and you'll make a giant mess and you'll burn your cream and you gotta start over and clean your pan. So get this up to a nice little simmer, and once it's at a simmer and it's hot, you can turn it off, and then now we're gonna add our chocolate chips. So again, this one I'm just sort of eyeballing here. We're going to do enough chips just so that we can get a nice thick sauce. You'll kind of tell as you're stirring the sauce how thick it is and how much you need, if you need more or less. So I'm going to say that's about a half a cup. Let's start there and see what happens. Alright, as you can see, we got our chocolate sauce here, and we are going to load this up into our little dishes, like so. I'd say about a tablespoon each one. Just a little dollop in there. You can certainly coat the whole bottom if you like the chocolate a lot. Now we're going to throw these guys into the freezer because we want this chocolate hardened before we add our creme brulee mix. Okay, now you're going to get your eggs in a bowl. This is my egg yolks. I doubled the recipe just because I'm going to make extra for something else. So this is 12 egg yolks in here, but the recipe is normally doing 6 with a half a cup of sugar. But I'm just going to go ahead and add in my whole cup of sugar here. And we're going to whisk this guy up. You really want to whisk this up good. Make sure all that sugar gets dissolved. You'll see the egg yolks slightly lighten up in color. And once this is good, we'll come back for the next step. Alright, so our egg yolks have lightened up slightly. And I've got my heavy cream going here on a sauce pot on the stove on medium-high heat. Again, you don't want to boil this. It'll boil over and make a giant mess. I've done it a million times, unfortunately. Just got to watch it. If you have the vanilla bean, I would add this now. Like, you're going to cut it in half, scrape out all the seeds, throw them into this mixture, and then throw the pot itself in here. And you kind of want to let that steep in there while this is coming up to temp. If you're using the alcohol-based, which is the typical extract that everyone has at home. You want to put that in afterwards at the end. So once your cream is hot enough, you are going to add the vanilla, let it set for a second, and we'll do the next step. Okay, our cream mixture is all heated up. We got our vanilla in there. Now we're going to add it to our eggs. Just to make sure, you don't want to scramble your eggs at all. The liquid's too hot. One way to help with that, keep it a little ice bath. And while you're stirring this up here, that'll just help keep your eggs at temp and not actually cook. Okay, now we're going to add our cream. You don't want to dump all this in at once. I'm going to probably do this in stages, about 4 stages. So do about a quarter of it. Get that all mixed in there. And again, just keep doing that until all your cream has been incorporated. Okay, we've got it incorporated. We didn't end up with scrambled eggs, so mission accomplished. Now our next step, we're just waiting for our chocolate to harden in our creme brulee dishes. And once that's ready, we will go ahead and throw these guys in the oven. I keep this in the bowl in the ice here. If it's cooler, it just makes it easier to pour. Or you can also get yourself like a little pitcher or like a big measuring cup, something like that. Really makes it easy to pour. That way you don't make a big mess all over the place. Okay, we've got our chocolate ganache is all nice and set. I've got my creme brulee mix. I transferred it into a pitcher just to make it easy to fill. And we're going to fill these guys up about 75–80% of the way here. Okay. Now we've got our hot water. We need to pour this in. We're going to fill up the container about halfway up the sides. Try not to splash it into your creme brulee mix or it will make it a little watery. The water bath is just going to help not burn the creme brulees and help just keep a nice even temperature. So we're going to put these in a 325-degree oven and we're going to cook them for about 40 minutes and we'll check on them when they're done. Alright, I just pulled the creme brulees out of the oven. They're nice and set here. You don't want them super tight. They're a little jiggly still, which is good. They'll set up more once they cool. So we're going to cool these guys off in the fridge. And once they're done, we'll torch them up and get them ready to eat. Alright, so we've got our creme brulees cooled. Now we're on to the final step, which is the fun part. We're going to be doing the sugar crust on top. So you want to get a nice good coating of sugar all over on top of this. You do want to make sure to cover the whole creme brulee with sugar because you don't want to burn your custard while you are torching it. But you also don't want the sugar layer so thick that while you're torching it, it's going to, it'll kind of pull up and the sugar underneath won't cook. If you don't have a torch, you can certainly do this on your broiler. In your oven, just put it right underneath it on super high heat. That'll work as well. Just make sure they're nice and cool before you do this step. But we got this one already and I got a torch here. We're going to give this a little. You got a torch, just kind of keep it moving. Don't keep it in one spot. You kind of want to melt all the sugar first. And as that happens, then it'll start to crisp up for you. All right, Now just let that cool for a couple seconds. And you're going to come in here with your spoon. Okay, our creme brulee is nice and torched. Kind of here, we got a nice hard crust on top. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, good layer. That's some good stuff. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you.